Good morning, everybody. I thought I would do a little mini episode today, a little different than what I normally do, and not necessarily cooking related, but it is a little bit, and you'll see in a minute. But I was on Facebook late last night and saw a friend of mine posted the article that one of my favorite authors, Tommie dePaola, had passed away. And growing up, him and Mark Brown were my two biggest authors. Um, as a child, and something about the stories they told and the illustrations that they put together in their books were just magical. With Mark Brown, he liked to hide words like his children's names in his books, which was always kind of a fun little element. And I actually, the school I went to, Como Elementary, at the time, we actually had him there as an author. He visited and he created a special version of Arthur Goes Camping, for our school, and put like our some of our teachers' names in there, the school name, the principal names, and hid them throughout the book. So that was kind of fun. And I believe the school still has that copy. But Tommie was just something about his books, Nona and Big Anthony and Jamie O'Rourke, and just he, I don't know, there was just something magical about his books, and they were one of my most favorites to always get. And actually, even in middle school, when I volunteered at our local library for the summer reading program, um, I would have to put books away, and usually I put books away in the children's section. And during downtimes when there wasn't anybody coming in to have me stamp their reading lists, I would pull out his books and I would just sit there in the kids area and just read. I'm even wearing one of my scarves in honor of him today. Tommie always, if you watch videos on YouTube, he's always got a scarf around his neck. So I think maybe that's where I picked it up and didn't realize it until just now. But I mean, for those that don't know, he did books like The Art Lesson and Pancakes for Breakfast, Oliver Button is a Sissy, Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato, Angels, Angels Everywhere, and 26 Fairmont Avenue. I mean, he just, a wide variety of books, but they all had a deeper meaning. But anyways, what I thought I would do today, and I don't own the rights to this, and I might get in trouble for doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway, is I'm going to read to you my favorite, the very first one I ever read of his, which is Nona. And I just want to make sure I've got this set up right. And it's going to look a little squishied for a moment. For something, when I went to open my book today, I realized the images were doubled up. So, Nona. And I may pronounce things wrong, but we'll find out. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called Nona, which meant Grandma Witch. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priests and the sisters of the convent went, because Nona did have a magic touch. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands, and she was very good at getting rid of warts. But Nona was getting old, and she needed someone to help her keep her little house and garden, so she put up a sign in the town square. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay any attention, went to see her. Anthony, said Nona, you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat. Oh, grazie, said Big Anthony. The one thing you must never do, said Nona, is touch the pasta pot. It is very valuable, and I don't let anyone touch it. Oh, si, yes, said Big Anthony. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Nona met with the people who came to see her for headaches and husbands and warts. Big Anthony had a nice bed to sleep in next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Stregonona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Stregonona standing over the pasta pot. She sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up." And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming hot pasta. Then Stregonona sang, "Enough, enough, pasta pot, I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day." "How wonderful," said Big Anthony. "That's a magic pot for sure." And Stregonona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't get to see Stregonona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. And this is what happened. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everyone about the pasta pot, and naturally everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly, a pot that cooked all by itself. "You'd better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony," they said. Such a lie. And Big Anthony was angry, and that wasn't a very good thing to be. "I'll show them," he said to himself. "Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry." That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later Stregonona said to Big Anthony, "Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend Strega Amelia. Sweep the house and weed the garden, feed the goat and milk her, and for your lunch there are some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot." "Oh, yes, yes, Stregonona," said Big Anthony, but inside he was thinking, "My chance has come." As soon as Stregonona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside, pulled the pasta pot off the shelf, and put it on the floor. "Now let's see if I can remember the words," said Big Anthony. And Big Anthony sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough to fill me up." And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. "Aha," said Big Anthony, and he ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain, and shouted, "Everyone get forks and plates and platters and bowls. Pasta for all at Stregonona's house. Big Anthony has made the magic pasta pot work." Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls, and sure enough, when they got to Stregonona's, the pasta pot was so full it was beginning to overflow. Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. There was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priest and the sisters from the convent. And some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings, but the pot was never empty. When all had their fill, Big Anthony sang, "Enough, enough, my pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day." But alas, he did not blow the 3 kisses. He went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling, until a sister from the convent said, "Oh, Big Anthony, look!" And pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Stregonona's house and was coming out the door. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but pasta kept pouring from it. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it. But the pasta raised the pot and Big Anthony as well and spilled on the floor of Stregonona's house. "Stop!" yelled Big Anthony. But the pasta did not stop, and if someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta, and the pot kept right on bubbling. The townspeople began to worry. "Do something, Big Anthony," they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, it did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. "We must protect our town from the pasta," shouted the mayor. "Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade." But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling, and the pasta kept coming. "We are lost," said the people, and the priest and the sisters of the convent began praying. "The pasta will cover our town," they cried. And it certainly would have, had Stregonona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to know what had happened. She sang the magic song and blew the 3 kisses, and with a sputter the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. "Oh, grazie! Thank you, Strigonona," the people cried. But then they turned on poor Big Anthony. "String him up!" the men of the town shouted. "Now wait," said Strigonona. "The punishment must fit the crime," and she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. "All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pasta pot," Strigonona said, "and I want to sleep in my little bed tonight, so start eating." And he did. Poor Big Anthony. And that is Strigonona by Tommie dePaola. So thank you. Go read the rest of his books. We are going to miss him in this world. He was a wonderful artist and illustrator. And thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a great day.